David Morris. Quarterback Country is a quarterback coach, and he is well known for his skills as far as a quarterback in the SEC, but also as a quarterback coach. He coached A.J. McCarron, still coaching A.J. McCarron, and also Jacob Coker. David, I hope you're doing well. Welcome into the game.
Ryan, I appreciate you having me, man. How y'all doing?
Very well, very well. It's just
good.
It's the never-ending quarterback conversation in Tuscaloosa, and we wanted to see if we can get an expert on to sort of help us talk a little quarterbacks and about developments, and let us pick your brain for a few minutes.
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, let's first off let's talk about what you do there and sort of the services that you offer as far as your quarterback coaching and your technique there.
Sure. Yeah. So the name of our company is QB Country. We're in 9 locations across the Southeast. Founded here in Mobile, Alabama, and essentially we're a year-round quarterback training company. That doesn't mean we do the same thing year-round. It's definitely seasonal aspects to the position, just to any sport, really. And we're not a big camp group. We don't do a lot of camps. We'll do one. We call it a convention every year. That's coming up June 3rd and 4th at the University of South Alabama. But essentially what we do is quarterback training all the way to the highest level. You mentioned a couple of those high-level guys we have. And then, it goes all the way down to guys in middle school. We train guys 6th grade and above. So essentially we're starting from the ground up, and we're trying to teach initially the fundamentals and the mechanics of the position, and then ultimately, trying to graduate to a tempo after some muscle memories form. So, yeah, it's that's in a 1.5 minute nutshell. That's about what we do.
I want to talk about so many different things, and David, I apologize. We got a little bit late here, so if you're up against the clock, please let me know. And we'll shorten this interview, but I got a lot of questions that I just want to pick your brains. But if you got you got somewhere to go, man, you don't let me know, and we'll move the conversation as fast as we possibly can. We'll go up tempo here for a couple of minutes, so let me know.
There you go.
David, I want to get into high school transition, college transition. What do you think is the biggest challenge a high school quarterback faces when he goes into a league like the SEC?
Well, first and foremost, in my opinion, it's competition. Those guys every single one of them that's on campus there now is used to being the guy in high school. They have been told forever how good they are, and now they're amongst a bunch of other talented people, and it's dog eat dog, and it's you better have toughness, you better love competition, and you better be a grinder. And I think at the very initial stage, leadership is recognized on all levels. So if a kid's a leader, in middle school, there's good chances that he's going to be one in high school and thereafter. And I do think you can acquire leadership, skills over a period of time. But for the most part, I think leadership is a huge deal here. I don't think that changes. I think a big transition obviously is it's not necessarily time commitment anymore because these kids are so used to it. I mean, it's gotten so serious in high school. The big transition, I think, is you thought about this your whole life. This is what your dream was, and you get there and you realize, wow, it's great, but it's not necessarily how I planned it out. Meaning, okay, I don't show up and I'm not the guy. There's a lot that goes on from the time you get there to the time you leave, and obviously there's natural physical things that happen. It's very fast. You better be a fast thinker. So guys that were prepared well in high school, obviously, have an easier transition to the load or the digestion period of an offensive playbook. But I mean, it's just a lot. I mean, I'd say across the board, you could get into mental aspects and you could get into physical aspects, and literally, there's a long list of both that would be a transition.
How about reading a defense when you come out of the options that they run in the high school ranks? Maybe you're not called upon to read a defense. How big of a challenge is that, making that transition from high school to college?
It's a big transition. It's so complex. And with offensive football these days, it's well documented that it's not as they don't put as much on the quarterbacks as they used to in most systems. The quarterback would look over the line of scrimmage and he'll be told to play, and the quarterback knows how to run that play. Where in the old days, not necessarily in high school, but definitely in college, there's all sort of green checks. There's all sort of options that the quarterback has every play. And so I don't know that I think quarterbacks are more prepared physically and to some degree because of the acceleration period of offensive football and how people can figure out within a 25-second, 30-second period of time, a coach can see a defense, make a different call, and run it. It takes a little bit off the quarterback's chest. So I think there's a long curve there, depending on the offense. But defensive football in general is going to be a lot more multiple in college, and so you're right. I mean, if you come from a coach or a program that really talked defensive football, I think you'll have an easier transition. If you're not used to, literally there's probably 30 different coverages, and each one is, a lot of them look the same. So essentially, you got man, zone, or a combination, and it's complex, it's deep, and there's a lot of guys, in college football right now that can't tell you much about some of that stuff. So, it like you said, man, it's a vast undertaking.
When you look at the hours, the NCAA restricts on players. I know some of that's voluntary, and you can, they can't kick you out of the film room, but there's so many hours that you can spend with your coach, or there's limits there. Does that limit quarterback development?
I don't think so. I mean, those have always been there. So no, I don't think so. I think and then you got guys that really want to learn, and you got guys that will do the bare minimum. And I think it's a big part of how good people turn out to be. You got guys that do more than they're asked to do, and then you got guys that just want to do what they're told to do when people are watching. And so usually you can kind of find out who has been studying and who hasn't.
When you look at mechanics, one of the things that I've watched around college football is these guys will have great mechanics early on. But as they go through their progressions, it seems like those mechanics fade a little bit. Is that a fair comment?
It's an interesting one. I mean, I think there's something to be said there. I think there's an easy answer, too, and that's usually because the pocket is starting to collapse. So the longer he holds it, the more that natural clock in your head is going off. Something's about to happen, and usually you're about to get your chin busted. So I think there's a natural inclination to say, hurry, kind of got to get it out, and maybe somewhat of a panic in some guys. Other guys a little more cool. Sometimes a little bit of both. I think that that's real natural as the pocket starts to get disrupted more.
When you're going through a quarterback competition, what do you tell your quarterbacks, whether it's the college level, the high school level, with trying to do a little bit too much? I think you would probably expect all quarterbacks to do that. You've been in quarterback competitions at your days at Ole Miss. How do you keep from pressing? How do you try to keep from doing things that may not be within your scope of your abilities?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think it comes back to knowing all you can do is all you can do. You can do your best, and that's really it. And I think if you get caught in a competition where you're trying to outdo the other guy all the time, or make sure that you had a better day than he did, I think it's a little bit of a distraction or a lack, maybe a diversion of your focus. I feel like if you can just worry about focus on the task at hand, one play at a time. Well, we always say one play at a time, one drive at a time, one possession at a time, one game at a time. So if it's a practice, the same mentality: one play at a time, one practice at a time, and hopefully over a period of time, you've had a better run at it. But it is very stressful. I'll tell you that I was in several competitions in college, and it's intense. I mean, you're up there all day, and everything you're doing is to try to get that spot. And it is a little emotionally exhausting sometimes, but these guys are tough, and you better be that at quarterback. So it's interesting.
When A.J. McCarron got the opportunity to go in and start a playoff game, had a lot of success, probably was no surprise to you because you've seen what he gives you as a quarterback. Sort of break down A.J. McCarron and the skill set that he has and how he's grown since his college days now to the NFL.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I was. AJ's one of those guys you feel really good about how he's going to play every game. He's very consistent. You look at his college career; he was very consistent. Some people make playing quarterback look easy, and it's not. I think he's one of those guys. He's always had it. He's got a ton of confidence. He plays his best ball when the lights are on and bright. So I think that was a moment, a bright moment, several of them actually. That's not too big for him. He really believes in his ability. I think in general what he's done, he's gotten stronger. He's worked hard. He understands football, and he understands situational football, and he knows how to win games, and that's to play smart and take care of the football. And I think that's transitioned with him, and it was really pushed in his head at a young age, and he's well coached in high school and in college, and we've been able to spend a lot of time together. And I think he understands that's how you win ball games. And a lot of people take for granted how hard it is to take care of the football. It's somewhat of an art and a discipline, and he knows how to do it. So I think his best ball is ahead of him.
David, let me ask you about Jacob Coker, and I'll be our final question. We're a week away from the draft. Can you give us a little insight into what he's going through as he prepares for this upcoming big day that some team's going to call him and give him an opportunity?
Yeah, the same thing. All you can do is all you can do, and so you try to establish a plan and really work hard at it and try to get better at the little things you can improve on, and then you kind of play a waiting game. You do your studying. You do your preparation to where if it's an inside meeting, you can hang with those NFL guys and compliment them even and add to the conversation, not just be ears to it. And then on the field, you're just consistently trying to get ready because literally that next day he'll be gone. For minicamp, whether it's a draft deal or a priority free agent. So I think his head is just continuing to work and trying to stay in shape.
David, thank you again for being a part of the show, and I want to encourage people. You have quarterback country spots all over the country, right? I mean, or at least all over the Southeast.
Yeah, we do it in 9 locations around the Southeast. Been fortunate. I got some great coaches working with us, and we love coaching kids and helping impact their lives and we're lucky enough to do it. So, yeah, go check out the webpage, qbcountry.com.